let's animate the horse's hips. The hips, or ilium, which is another term for them, they're going to move around with our pelvic legs, of course. But what we want to do is look at our secondary push-off leg, so in this case the left leg. And we want to say, okay, when it's furthest up, we're going to want to then rotate the hips down, okay, and also translate them up so there's a little bit more of a curve if we were to look at a line of action in the horse's back. Okay, and then as the legs push off, again looking at where the leg is furthest back when it's straightened out on about frame 12, we're going to then rotate the hips back slightly and also down so it's more of a straight line if we were to look at the line of action. So knowing that, let's go ahead and select our hips and we'll begin. So going to frame 7, here we're going to want to rotate the hips slightly down and also translate them slightly up so there's more of a curve. And as we get to frame 12, we'll now translate them slightly down, not too much, and also rotate them back a bit. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide our curves and just hit play to see how this is looking now. See if we like what we're getting. And notice, all right, great, this is really improving our animation, okay, from adding these slight changes. Okay, from animating now the hips, we have some more horse-like characteristics in our run. It's really improving it. So from here, we can go to our graph editor to see if there's anything we can clean up to really improve this area that much more. Bringing out the graph editor, we can start with the translate Y, hitting F to frame. And let's go ahead and select our start and end keys, and I think we can adjust them, bringing them more down to the key we have on frame 12. So we'll just hold shift and middle mouse button, click, and drag down just slightly, and then we'll select the right halves, and middle mouse button, click, and drag up so we get a nice blend. Great. Awesome. So from there, we'll go to our rotation X, frame it up, and again do a similar adjustment, going again closer to the key on frame 12. And we'll select the right halves and middle mouse button, click, and drag down. Great. So now we can minimize our graph editor and hit play and see what that gives us. Great. So our hips are looking really nice. Another point I want to stress is we want to make sure that we're checking out our animation in more than one view, okay, especially since we are animating in 3D. Okay, it has some similarities to 2D, but then again it doesn't. So for example, in a run like this, you'd want to make sure that everything is looking okay in all angles before we can call an area done. But this looks fine. Well, now that this has been done, we need to focus more on our thoracic area. But going right back to the movement of the hips, before we even get to that, if you notice the secondary movement, we can call it, going throughout the character's stomach area, and there's even a slight bit in the neck. Now that's coming from how the horse is set up. If you're interested, we do have scheduled to come out a quadruped rigging kit, okay, that's going to explain how this rig was built. So please go ahead and check that out if you're interested, again, in making a horse rig. But now that that's been done, in the next lesson, we're going to focus on the thoracic area, getting that animated.